Hello students, I'm Dr. Poonam Agrawal, and today in this video I'll be explaining you how the DNA sequencing was proposed by scientist Sanger in a method called dideoxynucleotide trail sequencing or dideoxynucleotide chain termination method. The other name is dideoxynucleotide trail sequencing. This is otherwise called dideoxynucleotide chain termination method. So this we are going to discuss, and most of the lecture I have covered from my book concept in biochemistry with clinical approach, where at page number 323 I have explained how the DNA sequencing is done by Sanger. So most of the portion is taken from there. So let's start with the discussion on this. So this is Sanger's technology, which I am going to explain you, where he used a specific material called dideoxynucleotide. You should know that for making of DNA, for elongation of DNA chain, we need to have deoxynucleotide. Then only that deoxynucleotide will be added to the next nucleotide and chain elongation of DNA will be taking place. Now let's see what is deoxynucleotide and what is dideoxynucleotide. The second picture is deoxynucleotide and this first picture is talking to you about dideoxynucleotide. Deoxynucleotide is naturally present in our cell, and dideoxynucleotide is an artificial material with the help of which Sanger could sequence the DNA. So let's see what is the basic structural difference in deoxynucleotide and dideoxynucleotide. So in that context, let me tell you, deoxynucleotide is having the deoxyribose, then a base, purine or pyrimidine base, and then the phosphate along with it. So this yellow color highlighted portion is the deoxyribose, which is not having what? The second hydroxyl, but the third hydroxyl is there. So this kind of deoxynucleotide is needed for making of DNA wherever you're talking, whether in PCR or where you're talking about the natural DNA replication. Whenever the deoxynucleotides are added, the chain of DNA undergoes elongation and synthesis of DNA takes place. This dideoxynucleotide is an artificial material where you do not have the hydroxyl at second carbon as well as at third carbon. That is why it is called dideoxy. It is not having hydroxyl at two carbon positions, the second and third carbon position. Shortly, I'll explain you that presence of third hydroxyl is very crucial for elongating the DNA change for addition of the next nucleotide in the DNA chain. The presence of third hydroxyl is very essential. So if there is incorporation of dideoxynucleotide in the elongating DNA chain, it will not be able to get added with the next incoming nucleotide. So that is the basic principle of Sanger's DNA sequencing method, where he used the dideoxynucleotide and he deliberately terminated the chain of the DNA synthesis at various points, and he could sequence the DNA, and that is the topic of today's discussion. So first of all, before going to actual steps of Sanger's, let me tell you what is the rule of DNA synthesis, what is the rule of chain elongation. So in that, you see, this is the existing nucleotide where the incoming nucleotide is coming and getting added. So where is the interaction? Interaction is between the third hydroxyl of the existing nucleotide and fifth phosphate of incoming nucleotide. There is a nucleophile attack of the third hydroxyl on the incoming fifth phosphate, and there occurs a formation of phosphodiester bond which adds the deoxynucleotides together with the help of DNA polymerase enzyme. Similar fashion, suppose one new nucleotide is coming here once again, and that is getting added. The third hydroxyl will be interacting with the fifth phosphate of this new nucleotide, and they will be linked in another phosphodiester bond, and chain elongation will be taking place. So what you have understood in this picture, that existing nucleotide should have third hydroxyl for it to combine with the next nucleotide. Suppose for any reason, if the third hydroxyl is not there, you understand, the next nucleotide will not be added and the DNA synthesis will stop then and there itself. So this is the principle which the Sanger applied in his technology for sequencing of DNA, where I actually tell you how he could sequence the DNA. He took 4 test tubes. And if you see this picture, it can explain you how the sequencing was done. See, this is the single-stranded DNA which was to be sequenced, right? So one primer was needed against it. You see, the basic rule is reading of DNA, template DNA is 3 to 5 and synthesis is 5 to 3. So this is 3' end and this is 5' end, and the primer was first of all produced, a short primer was synthesized against the known sequence of the DNA which was known by some other method, and I have highlighted it, but I know it is not very visible, so let me write it here. It is CTT. Let me write it here. CTT GAA. This is the sequence which was there in the picture, but just because I had highlighted it for some reason, it is not very much visible, so I'm just writing it once again. So this is the sequence of the DNA, which is the target sequence which need to be sequenced. Now let's see how it is being done. So I said that first of all the labeled primer is synthesized, and then there 4 tubes are taken. If you see, this kind of 4 tubes are taken, and each tube is having the same primer. Each tube is having the template DNA also. If you see, this is the template DNA which need to be sequenced. Then DNA polymerase enzyme which can make the daughter DNA. Then free deoxynucleotides of 4 variety which can make the DNA. Which 4 deoxynucleotides are needed? You need to have deoxy ATP, you need to have deoxy CTP, you need to have deoxy GTP, you need to have TTP. So these sets of nucleotides are required because they are needed for basic synthesis of the DNA. But what is most important, you have to focus here, that additionally the dideoxynucleotide was added in these tubes. Individual tube was having a specific type of dideoxynucleotide. The tube 1 was having dideoxynucleotide of ATP and the third tube was having of GTP. Like that, dideoxynucleotide was something which was differently placed in these tubes, and when the DNA polymerase acted and the DNA synthesis took place, you see what happened. Suppose if you're talking about tube 1 which is having the dideoxynucleotide ATP. So just imagine that this dideoxynucleotide ATP is added at its specific base pair. So ATP, where it will be added? It will be added corresponding to TMP, right? So in this target sequence, you have 1 TMP here, 1 TMP here, and 1 TMP here. So if many cycles of DNA synthesis is taking place, chances are high that in one of the DNA strand synthesis, dideoxy ATP will be added here, terminating the chain synthesis. Another chance is there that dideoxy ATP is added at this point, terminating the chain synthesis. Then another one chance is there, then in some other cycle the termination will be at this step. I have told you, once the dideoxynucleotide is added, it is not going to further elongate. So Sanger, what he did, he had placed the specific type of dideoxynucleotide in a tube, and many cycles of DNA synthesis was allowed in that tube, giving a chance of termination of DNA fragment at each point, where the corresponding TMPs are there. So that way you will get these kind of DNA fragments in test tube 1, which was having dideoxy ATP. Similarly, suppose if the second tube was having TTP, then the termination will be there at places where, again by mistake I have erased it, so I have to write it. Just a second, I will write it once again, then only you will be understanding it. So I need to write it. Okay, right. So this is the sequence, original sequence. Now suppose if you're talking about the second tube which is having dideoxy TTP, then what will happen? That termination will be taking place at which all points? It will be taking place at AMP sites. So you will have the DNA strands either of this length or of this length or of this length. So that is what is represented here. Similar fashion, suppose if the tube is having dideoxy CTP, then the termination will be there corresponding to the G unit. So the termination will be there at which all points? Termination will be there at this G point, this G point. So you will get the fragments of this sort which is not further getting elongated, because dideoxy once added, it is not allowing the further elongation. So similar fashion, all the tubes will have multiple fragments, and we know that each tube is having the DNA fragment which is ending with dideoxynucleotide of this sort. This tube is having the DNA fragment ending with dideoxynucleotide of TTP variety. This tube is having all DNA fragments ending with dideoxy-GTP. This is having dideoxy-CTP. So this is how we have 4 tubes which are having diverse set of DNA fragments which probably are differing in just one nucleotide in length. So now when the electrophoresis is done on PAGE, polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis, what is the basis of electrophoresis? It is the migration on a gel. So depending on the size, they will migrate. The smallest fragment of these is which one? You just see this one. So it will be migrating fastest. And the largest one in this set is this one, so it will be moving slowest. So this well will be having the fragments, this AMP dideoxy ATP well will be having the fragments of these many sizes. They will migrate according to their electrophoretic mobility, and you will get so many bands on the page, and these bands are representing you the size of DNA fragment. The smallest one will be moving fastest. Which one is fastest here? This one is fastest. So we understand that at 5' end, now you read this, now at 5' end we have G as a minimal nucleotide. Then the next one is ATP. The next one is going to be this band, so ATP. The next one is going to be CTP, so this is CTP. So what I mean to say that Sanger segregated these fragments on page, and depending on their size, they could segregate. The smallest one moved fastest and the largest one moved slowest. So according to this electrophoretic mobility, the sequence was analyzed. This was the sequence of product. Now what will be the sequence of original DNA strand? It will be just complementary. So C opposite you find G, A opposite you find T, A opposite you find T. Right, you understand that these are the products of the DNA fragments which were new DNA which were produced in the tubes. They were having this sequence. So the complementary strand, the original strand was having this sequence. Now you see, this was the sequence which was to be analyzed, and now we know that this is the sequence of the DNA fragment. So in nutshell, let me tell you that if any DNA fragment need to be sequenced by this Sanger's technology, then 4 variety of dideoxynucleotide need to be added in individual tubes, and they are allowed to synthesize DNA multiple number of times, giving chance for chain termination at each specific points. Then these DNA fragments are separated, and by a specific calculation the complementary strands can be analyzed. That is it. This is Sanger's technique. And why it is called dideoxy? Because we are using dideoxy nucleotide in this technique, which is going to deliberately terminate the chain synthesis. So chances are high that all sized fragments will be produced, and on electrophoretic separation we will get DNA bands which are having the DNA fragments differing in at least one nucleotide. So that will help in sequencing of the DNA, right? So if you see, this picture is clearly telling you the fragment which is differing in length by one base are resolved, and each band is from a dideoxynucleotide terminated DNA fragment, and you have to read the sequence from bottom up, because the smallest fragment is has moved maximally, and that is going to show you the 5' end of the daughter DNA or new DNA, and the one which is towards the site of application is not moving much. That is the sequence which is towards the 3' end of the new DNA, because the DNA synthesis takes place in 5 to 3 direction, and the complementary sequence is analyzed. That is the actual sequence of the targeted DNA. So Sanger used a primer which was radio labeled, and auto radiography show you the band over here. But because of radio hazards, because of radioactivity hazards, nowadays scientists are doing the same technique with the fluorescently labeled nucleotides, right? So fluorescently labeled nucleotides. So the fluorescence on the capillary electrophoresis is being read for the signal, and that is being analyzed. Like if this is the target sequence, this is the primer. Now the each tube will have dideoxynucleotide of different color fluorescence, right? Like the dideoxy TTP is given red color, dideoxy CTP is given blue color, dideoxy ATP is given green color. So different color coding is done, and when the signal is read in this fashion, you understand the black color is for G, and the red color is for T, and this red color is for T, this black color is for G. So this becomes the sequence. This is smallest, so this is 5' end, and this is going to be 3' end. This is how the sequence is analyzed using capillary electrophoresis, where the fluorescent dye is labeled on the dideoxynucleotides and they are being read. Another method of DNA sequencing, I will just introduce you with the name, and that is Maxam-Gilbert method of DNA sequencing. That is a chemical method where the DNA is fragmented into various sizes, of which are differing in one nucleotide, and then they are electrophoresed and they are being analyzed for its sequence. So that is Maxam-Gilbert, where the enzyme DNA polymerase is not used, rather the targeted DNA is fragmented into pieces and they are run on electrophoresis and they are being analyzed for the sequence. So thank you very much. This is in nutshell the sequencing of the DNA. For more such videos, you can subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.